Hey folks, I'm here today with my good friend Admin, the Teachers Forum. I haven't seen him in quite a while. Great to see that he's back, and we're going to have a little bit of an open mic discussion here. Uh, I have some questions, and we'll see how that goes. So, how are you today, Admin? You doing fine?
I'm not doing too bad. As I explained earlier, I'm a um, a little busy, but not too busy.
All right. So, how's your life been?
Um, Living, breathing, and learning.
Way to put it. So, yeah, how long have you been a Christian?
Oh, that's a good question. Honestly, I've never actually thought about that one years of late. Let's see. Going on 20 years and about another 2 years.
Did you have a moment where you could look back on and say, well, yeah, that's it. Now I'm confident. Now I really believe in my heart, as opposed to before?
Uh, yeah, actually, there was. There's back when I was about 5 or 6 years of age. I believe it was five, but I take into consideration over so many years, I probably lapsed a year of the memory exactly. But yeah, when I was about 5 or 6 years of age, I uh, I kept going to church, and I was basically felt like I was being preached directly at. So I was like, if this preacher is preaching directly at me, and he's telling me everything in my life, and he doesn't even know me,
Mhm.
and apparently there's something working with him. So I asked my father one time whether or not he could show me more in the Bible, etc. And he was like, no, I won't do that. And I was like, why? He said, because I don't want you ever to think that you're doing something for me.
Mhm.
You have to do this for yourself. It's one thing you have to do in yourself in your whole entire life. You have to make decisions. And this is one of them that you're going to have to make on your own. It's going to affect the rest of your life and your afterlife. So I was like, fine, since you don't want to help me, that's fine. So I was sitting in church, and I said to my dad the next Sunday, I said, hey, can you walk me up there and show me? He's like, no.
Mhm.
So then I did that probably for about 3 weeks, kept going up to him and asking him. Sooner or later, I got a little bit tired of it, and I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm tired of asking him, and I'm always saying no. So I pretty much crawled from, we always sit at like the second last pew, not exactly the last, so we can't say, we always sit in the back. And I crawled from the back of the church pew all the way to the front at about 5 or 6 years of age, crawled all the way to the front, and actually asked the pastor's wife, was like, hey, can you show me more about the doctrine and the Bible, etc.? And she was more than happy to show me, and that's pretty much when my life changed, and I was in Kenansville, North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken.
And that was all when you were still 5 or 6 years old?
Yeah, that happened over probably about an 8 month period of time, but I generalized it by saying 2 or 3 weeks. But yeah, that was that was definitely the defining moment of becoming a believer
Mhm.
in my life. Yes.
Do you still remember some of the arguments that resonated most with you that the moment gave to you?
Well, at the moment, I was not a skeptic at that exact time. I
Mhm.
was more along the lines of this guy honestly can see apparently right through me as a preacher. So there's no point in me even lying about it, because if I lie, it's going to get me into trouble, as I was growing up taught that lying just gets me in trouble. So I was like, there's no point in trying to argue with the guy because he apparently knows what he's talking about.
Mhm.
So I never really had any arguments. I was just more, you know what, this has to be true because honestly, things in my life corresponded me to believe that. Because how else would this person that doesn't know me so well?
All right. Now, were there any other later when you grew up after the age of 10 or perhaps in your teens, did you notice have any other profound moment that you said, oh man, this thing, like in the scriptures, that resonates with me. That confirms what I have known even back then. And that further gives me confidence in my belief.
Now, honestly, I heard probably about 2/3 of your question, Johnny. Can you restate your question one more time? Because I didn't quite hear your full question.
Oh, yeah, sure. I said, later in your teens, did you have another profound moment, like an argument that you heard from the Bible already yourself, perhaps, and you said, man, this is, and now I'm getting even more confident in my faith?
Yeah, actually, there was multiple of those times when I went up and started believing so much that I encountered people that were trying to show me other doctrines and show me other beliefs in the Bible that I was, it's not that I wasn't aware of them, it's just that I wasn't paying too much attention to them because I was focusing more upon myself and trying to do what the Bible said for me to do. And when I came to those points, it was more along the lines of I was at a little bit of an impasse for a couple weeks, almost months, and then after me sitting down and reading the Bible, I'd probably read through the Bible at least 8 times. So when I was reading through the Bible kept reassuring me through different ways on what it was actually on what was actually the truth from what was a lie, from what people were trying to feed me and me basically trying to believe. So yeah, that was it's.
Can you give me can you give me an example of what some of those lies were that people were trying to feed you?
Well, people were trying to basically persuade me to state that other religions, such as how would I illustrate it to where people can understand it? Basically, to where they were saying that my religion was not as easy as I make it seem because the narrow mind of a Christian or a theist just it's not what all it cracks up to be. And if there was such thing as a God, then why would he allow so much harm to come to people in this world when if he came to save us, why would he cause so much harm? And I had to reevaluate the circumstance as it sounds like a very true claim. So I took that into very much consideration, and I had to look deeply into God's word and pray upon it. And I finally come to the conclusion that obviously, if God wanted there to be harm, he'd have just wiped us off the face of the planet already. So he obviously doesn't want too much harm. He just wants us to be submissive to him and his will.
Okay. Okay. Now, how long have you been off of the Google Plus community? That's approximately, if you may.
Have I been off of the Google Plus community?
Yeah.
About 8-9 months.
8-9 months. And when was the first time you came on?
I came on after being off for so long, just basically checking up to see how people were doing. About that's a good question. Probably about 2.5 months ago, maybe.
When was the first time you came on Google Plus? How many years ago?
Oh my, that's a good question. I'd have to look up a video the first time I ever went on Google Plus. I think that was back. I would say I started making videos, but not underneath the actual name of admin, underneath a different name. Probably back in 2010, maybe 2009.
Now, did you notice any difference since then? Any major difference, or is it almost the same?
It's to everything. There's a change. Just a matter of how much change you're talking about. Obviously.
Yeah, that's why I said anything significant that you noticed, or is it pretty much, insignificant?
Well, there's always going to be certain significance, and there's always going to be certain insignificance. Just whether or not you're wanting to pay attention to what changed and not pay attention to what very little changed, because there are some things that majorly changed and certain things that didn't really change that much.
I hear you. Now, when you first came on, did you and your dad both work together? Were you both active in preaching the Bible, or was it more your dad was doing that and you were doing kind of other things? And if so, what kind of things?
Actually, I was the one that got him onto Google Plus.
Ah,
Actually, I was the one that got him on because basically I was in Nadia Chambers' room, and I happened to be keeping an atheist, and I was talking to my dad one time about being on Google Plus and all that, and he was asking me like, what's Google Plus and like what kind of people are they, etc. Because he was probably trying to get me to see that it wasn't really that good of an idea for me to get on, etc. So I talked to him probably for about 2 months, and finally he decided, you know what, I want to try this out. So he came on probably about a year and a half after I did.
I see. And what were you doing when you first came on? Were you going into the scriptures, or was it more like, a general secular kind of discussion?
Actually, it was neither. It was more I was making gaming channel. And I stumbled upon Hangouts, and when I stumbled upon Hangouts, at that point my gaming thing just kind of lapsed, and I just stopped doing the gaming thing and just started focusing more upon maybe this is where God's calling me to work. So I decided to hop into the Google Plus pool, and well, that's where I'm at now.
Ah, all right. Yeah, that sounds awesome. So, in the beginning, how many Christian friends did you get, or did you make in the Google Plus community?
Well, that's funny because I really didn't have any at first. I mean, my dog's about to go insane. Hold on. I know it. I'm waiting. There it goes. I looked outside and saw the male person. Basically, I didn't have that many of any because I kept finding ones that believed that I thought were right and they knew what they were talking about. But then as I listened to them more and kept acquainting myself with them, it kept changing my thought pattern to them. They apparently don't understand a lot of what they're teaching because they keep going at things the wrong way. So I just decided that they weren't the exact kind of people that I wanted to hang out with because they didn't understand the principles that I've learned in my life. So I didn't really have that many, Johnny.
Now, over time, did you manage to, get more friends or more Christians? Like, perhaps go in their hangouts or they come in yours. Did you host ever any hangouts with them? Or did you more come into their rooms and have a discussion from time to time? How did that go?
I have hangouts where they did join. Not that many. I made a couple series before my dad came on the scene, but I found very few people that I could actually trust with a lot of information. There's certain people I disclose a lot more information to than others, and I didn't find a lot more than I was wanting. I actually found a lot less than I was wanting, because a lot of people were basically wanting to believe what they wanted to believe, and no matter how much I tried to persuade them otherwise, they were always wanting to stick with the same beliefs that they wanted to, which is no problem, because they believe what they believe and I believe what I believe. So it's just, no matter how much I tried to help them to see what I see, they not only choose, but they also chosen at the time to believe whatever they wanted to believe instead of what I was trying to show them, which in my perspective was the truth.
Now, once your dad came on the scene, did you and him kind of work together, spreading the word and hosting hangouts together, defending the faith?
Well, when we first started, as of a very first start, it was actually funny because he hosted the very first hangout he ever hosted. I was not a moderator of, and when he did host that, nobody joined because nobody knew who he was. But then after I joined in, because I had people already in my circles on Google Plus, etc., and I had people that would join. After I invited all my invites and basically I moderated, he, I wouldn't say extra mentally, but he basically took off flight a little bit faster than I did when I was doing things, because he was using, as you would say, basically using somebody else's reputation to get started. So basically we both worked together, yes, and I started a forum, a website forum for him, and I started like a website for my church and added his forum to the website and all kinds of other things, basically so we can spread the gospel together. And we worked as a team, and we still do. It's just he doesn't get on that much anymore. But yeah.
All right. Would you like to perhaps go into a bit of why he left all of a sudden?
Well, for starters, he doesn't look eye to eye upon everything that a lot of people have been doing as of lately on Google, and he still does comment from time to time on people's channels and discussions. He just, I can't say he won't, but it's not in him to do a hangout over something that's basically people are going to just take and twist and turn his words against him when he says what he believes and he has his opinion. And it's not for someone to go judging him upon what he believes, because he believes and he's studied it for so many years, which, as to anybody, the only way you can go at that is by being kind and graceful and trying to be respectful.
Right. Yeah, that's always important. I say that learn to agree to disagree. Even sometimes, it can get heated for a moment, but then at the end of the day, just agree to disagree. Especially with a Christian, but even with a non-believer, I would say that one can, in a cordial fashion, still after having had a long string of perhaps heated arguments, just come say, well, we may not agree on this at all, but we can still get along as long as you can have a calm discussion. I'm gonna be having a calm discussion with you as well. And there's not gonna be any problem at the end of the day. You know, I think that should be able to.
A lot of people, whenever they have a conversation, they don't take into consideration, especially on Google Plus, to look at what the other person is saying and try to take into equation that they might actually have something that you don't have, which I found over the years is very helpful. I mean, it may not be the greatest of things to help you, but it still helps you. And people just lack the understanding to actually pay attention. And no matter how much you say, I'm listening and I'm paying attention, it's not always the same way. Because just because someone's paying attention their own way doesn't mean they're not paying attention. So it's very tricky, especially in Google Plus.
Now, what are you doing right now? Are you busy with something, or is it you just sitting down thinking? Doing what?
I'm actually not painting. I'm primering a ceiling.
Oh.
So that's why you hear noise if you do.
Oh, all right. Are you in an apartment or something? Or are you?
I'm in a house.
Oh, okay. Is it your dad's house?
It's a friend's house.
All right, all right. Well, maybe you can give our viewers a look if you want to.
Sure. Only the ceiling, obviously.
Yeah, let's do that.
This is the
Yep.
ceiling here. I don't know if you have me on display or what. But that's I purposely left a gap there so I can do that with a paintbrush itself.
Right.
And as always, I stopped over here before a brick so I can not get any on the brick. And this is primering the ceiling. That's the primered half. The other half is over here. So that's definitely a little bit different.
Yeah. I see that. Is your dog still around?
Yep, the dog is always around.
Can you call him in? I've never seen him.
It's technically not my dog. It's a friend's dog.
Oh, okay. But he's good friends with you? Ah, there he is. Oh,
No, you tell me the good friends.
Oh, that is something. Yeah. Oh, he's friendly, isn't he? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Whenever you know him, yes.
That's a good dog. Now, let me see how big he is. Now, is he as strong? Wait a second. Is he as strong as a German Shepherd, would you say, or not as much?
Well, he's I owned a German Shepherd for about 12 to 13 years. And it's hard to compare animals like that. But I would have to state he's 14 years old.
Oh.
The one you just saw was 14 years old. So for a dog to live for 14 years is amazing, first off. Second off, if he was younger, he probably would be around the same strength, maybe give or take some advantages being himself versus a German Shepherd that I used to own. being very strong because I had a very strict upbringing with it. I was rather abrupt with the dog because I wanted it to learn, but I was never cruel to it. I was always trying to train it.
Right.
And then eventually it decided to, find an escape route from the leash and find a good place to find heaven of its own accord.
Now,
And that was years ago. That was at least 12 years ago.
oh, okay. Now, is this dog still protective?
The dog,
Yeah. Is he still kind of? I mean,
whenever the mail lady went by,
Mhm.
what would happen, what the dog did. Just imagine if you were somebody you didn't know and there wasn't a door in the way.
oh, he would really get at you. I mean, with the mouth, the teeth, and all that.
It's a very passive dog when it knows you.
Mm.
If it doesn't know you, it's a very aggressive dog, kind of like any protective dog.
All right.
And the funniest thing is I'm not even the owner of the dog and it still likes me.
Well, how long have you known him?
I have known the dog roughly for about maybe about 5 weeks.
Oh, that's short, and he's friends already.
Oh yeah, he's one of these dogs that if you show him attention, he'll love you to death.
Mm.
But if he doesn't know you and you try it, he will show you what the definition of pain is in a different regard.
Yeah.
He'll say, "Oh, you want to play with me? Well, then you gotta dance with me."
Mm. Is he a playful dog or?
Oh, he's definitely playful. Yes, he likes playing all the time. I mean, he loves playing. He'd play in his sleep if he could. But if you don't know you, he definitely gonna give you a dance for your money, a literal dance for your money,
Yeah, I can imagine.
money to stay up on alive.
Yeah. So, if you may, who would you say are some of the best Christian friends that you ever came across on the G Plus community?
Well, as I stated earlier, it's it's not so much that I found people that I can hang out with because I can't say the best because there's very few people in which, when I say few, I mean literally few that I can actually state that they're people that I can look up to because a lot of people have been misguided and misdirected
Mhm.
in my perspective. So I can't really state any single or any certain people because there's not a lot of people that are that way these days.
I see. So, is it? Would you say that sometimes an argument can get so heated that it becomes even difficult to merely disagree and perhaps move on? Well, I may disagree with this issue, but that's not going to affect my friendship, kind of thing.
Um, there's plenty of times to where basically I've disagreed with a lot of what someone said, but that hasn't stopped me from talking to them. I'm pretty sure we know that from many different ways. But just because I don't agree with them on a lot of their doctrine doesn't mean I don't still have them as an acquaintance. But there comes a point to where the acquaintance goes just that, an acquaintance, but it never goes more due to the fact that I can't trust certain people with certain information, because it's only so far before you become a friend, and when you become a friend, you actually know a lot more about somebody than most people do.
Now, do you have any hobbies at the moment?
I play World of Tanks a little bit.
Is that a video game?
And what?
Is that a video game?
Yeah, you can call it a video game. It's a phone game. I play that, and I go on an app named LiveMe. That's about it. Like, literally about it.
Okay. No, so no outdoor games like going on a bike ride, stuff like that.
Oh, I do occasionally, but not enough to mention, as you could tell. There's not a lot of things to do where I'm at, so it's not like I can jump on a bike and off I go to the moon.
Right.
I mean, if it was that easy just for me to go to the moon, like, trust me, I would be more than happy to go to the moon. I'm not having any problem with going on bike rides. Just I normally like socializing, and not a lot of people like socializing these days in person.
I see.
And when they do, they're too much social.
Oh. So, I mean, I guess, yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, do you have perhaps any final words that you want
Nothing really. I can state that I am a young Earth creationist, and I don't really get into the Google Plus community as much as I used to, and basically, you can check out my channel. You can tell, obviously, I haven't made a video in only God knows how long, unless you look it up yourself. That's pretty much about it, because I have nothing else.
All right, then, Edmund. Thank you for being here with me, and hopefully talk to you again sometime. God bless you.
We'll see.